Welcome to the Afterthoughts podcast. Today, we talk about miracles, psychedelics, New Age crossover there. Is God's grace sufficient for everybody? And obviously the Broncos.
Of course.
So,
yeah,
big five,
obviously.
the big five.
Big five.
That everyone's been talking about. But first, quick check-in.
Yeah.
We're, halfway through a fast right now. How you guys doing?
Right.
Any takeaway? Anything you'd say?
I know we've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years. 21 days is a long time.
It's 3 weeks.
That's right. I'm at that point in the messy middle where I'm like, this is challenging.
Yeah.
And it's tough to you can no longer see the starting point and you also can't see the finish line. And you're somewhere in the messy middle just going like, what are we doing? And what's the point of this? And all of the head games are, for me personally, that's where I'm at.
Yep. There's no adrenaline anymore.
Oh, no.
There's just one foot in front of the other. You run a marathon and you just keep going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is like mile 15 of the marathon.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is a long ways.
Exactly.
They say it takes 21 days to build a habit, right?
Yeah.
I guess there's a reason for that because you need a lot of reps and a lot of time to actually walk away. If it took 3 days.
Yeah. How are you doing with it?
I'm kind of the opposite, that the head games are heavy the first, like beginning and end of a fast for me. Where in the middle, I've kind of accepted reality. And so it just feels like, this is just how life is. So
So you're doing great.
I feel
guys,
fine.
Yeah.
Pray for me and Doug. Don't worry about praying for Ethan this week. He's fine.
Save your prayers for us.
Yes. Not that it's easy. I'm just saying my mental, I have more of the oh my gosh, this is hard on the bookends of the whole thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, go ahead, Kayla. Threeth, you guys doing all right over there?
Doing good. Yeah.
Good.
The first week was hard, and so now I'm cruising.
Okay. Nice.
More in a groove.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging in there, back end of a cold.
Nice.
I can't tell what I'm feeling. So.
Getting sick during a fast is pretty cool. Oh, it's a great story, actually. This might be the first time that I ever tried fasting. We were in Belize doing some mission work, the three of us.
Yeah.
I don't remember why. One of us probably read something in the Bible, was like, guys, we need to fast. We would never do that.
No, it was the parable that Jesus said some things only happen by prayer and fasting.
Actually going to talk about that this weekend.
And so we had a
great
super idealistic conversation where we said, okay, so between the four of us on this trip, one of us should always be fasting
for a year,
just in case there's demons that need to be cast out, and they only come out by prayer and fasting. So,
and we're already on like a 1,100 calories a day
dude,
diet. So we've already lost so much weight.
We already were like 15 to 20 pounds under healthy body weight.
We were already doing a partial and selective food fast.
Exactly.
Where we were.
In Haiti, because we spent a month in Haiti, and all we ate, we had one piece of Wonder Bread with butter in the morning.
And then spaghetti in the evening.
Spaghetti with
Sometimes
ketchup.
Hot dogs.
And if you're lucky, you get a hot dog cut up to put in the spaghetti.
Dude, while we were just
not tomato sauce, ketchup.
So much all day.
We were just in a 110 degree heat. It was amazing. But then like 6 weeks in, we had then gone to Belize and we decided to fast. And we got so sick.
So all of us, all three of us.
All of us were sick so fast. And there was our friend Isaac, who's just a little older and wiser, was like, hey guys, this might not be the right moment that you have to fast.
Yeah.
That's not really the point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway.
And then he had some oregano drops to boost your immune system. So I took it, not realizing, and he's like, oh wait, you haven't been eating all day? That's why your stomach is burning right now.
I still can't take those.
I can't either.
It's burning a hole in your stomach.
Is dead to me.
Yeah. Really?
I'm sure it's healthy. I just can't do it.
I know. Even the
it.
seasoning, sometimes I'm like, that's taking me back.
I did it this morning.
Boy. Did you really?
Yeah. Wow. Oregano nose spray. For real.
Cool.
It burns,
that stuck around.
but I kind of like it at this point.
Of course you do.
I do.
It's kind of the thing you look for.
That's really good.
Yeah.
All right.
I've trained for it for 2 decades. Do not try the oregano nose spray unless you're me.
Okay. The Broncos on this past weekend.
Oh boy.
I was officiating a wedding, so I literally turned my phone off before the ceremony.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to know anything, because I'm the guy that records the game.
Yeah. Was this successful?
It was.
Are you serious?
In the actual ceremony, I made a reference to football, to the groom. And then I said, by the way, I'm recording the game right now. Do not talk to me at cocktail.
Dude, you interrupted their most important moment of their life to let everybody know.
But it came through a good joke.
I'm only saying that because I respect it so much.
Thank you. No, my friend Tristan, who's getting married, is a Cowboys fan. So what I said was, all these people are here. They love you, support you. Congratulations, by the way, Tristan and Auburn. And I think I've also proven that I love you guys and support this because I'm officiating your wedding while the Broncos are playing in a playoff game. Mm-hmm. Then I said to the groom, who's a Cowboys fan, I guess I should probably explain what a playoff game is to you since you're a Cowboys fan. Mm-hmm. And then I said, and by the way, I'm recording the game, so do not talk to me about this. Now let's get on with the wedding.
Wow.
And then I didn't talk about the Broncos from there.
And you made it all the way home.
So I made it home.
So you got to enjoy the whole game.
And because we were on group text that you were also in getting updates. So you turned that off. And you
so I got home.
Well
my
done.
family came home at the same time. They didn't know anything. So we all just watched the game.
Dude, good for you.
And then Steph and I always went to bed. Steph and I watched at the very end. And I'm like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
The Broncos won. Literally turned my phone on.
And you found out the terrible news.
A minute later, found out Bo Nix had broken.
Did you think it was a joke at first?
I thought it was
we thought it was a hoax.
Yeah.
Yep.
The way we found out. First of all, we were in Denver, me and Ryan. I was preaching at the recording service at Littleton Saturday evening.
You guys jet lagged right now?
Service.
Pray for us.
Service started.
Yeah.
At the fourth quarter. When the fourth quarter started.
Brutal, dude. It was the most brutal time.
In Denver.
Yeah. Why would you schedule on Saturday afternoon when a lot of us have church? It just seemed wrong.
It was one of the hardest things mentally I've ever done.
Preaching
that.
Wow.
Matt McKenzie, drummer, Red Rocks drummer, had it in the drum cage, had overtime on while he was playing drums.
Wow.
For worship.
Great. I'm glad you called him out for that by name on the podcast.
Yeah. No, it's less of a call out and more of a let me tip my hat to you, Matt.
There it is.
He did it.
He did it.
Great job.
He is that good.
And so found out right after service what that the Broncos had won.
Yeah, right.
Dude.
What are your thoughts about the catch/interception?
That was definitely an interception.
I agree.
Definitely.
And I know there's a lot of controversy about it.
Guess what? You have to survive the ground.
You do.
And he didn't survive the ground with the ball. McMillan survived the ground with the ball.
Because if McMillan wasn't there and everything happened just the same, where you have that still shot of him on the ground, hitting the ground, he's got the ball, but then the ball had the same destiny, if you will, where it, like, you call that a drop because the ground caused him not to actually have reception of it.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
the most frustrating part is the next 48 hours, every game, including the national championship, the commentators are like, I bet some Bills fans have some things to say about that.
And you know what?
Yep.
If you're a Bills fan,
shout out to Joey from last week.
I get that.
I get it.
I do feel bad for the
Bills. So brutal.
Other than the Broncos, that's probably the one other franchise I'd be like, if they won, like, good for them. I'm happy for them. So I did feel bad, and I love Josh Allen. You can't hate Josh Allen.
We love Josh.
Poor guy was crying in his post game.
I know.
He's the best, dude.
He's great. But I'm not
mad about it. And listen, Stranger Things season 5 have happened.
That's right.
The Broncos could win the Super Bowl with their second string quarterback.
Did you watch that show? Yeah.
I've never seen it.
I watched the first season.
And never made it through.
First and a half.
I heard the ending was great, but I don't know. Yeah. Kayla.
Hey.
You went to the University of Auburn.
I know.
As well as Jarrett Stidham, who will be starting for the Broncos against the Patriots. Gosh, I still hate the Patriots so much.
And you've been to an AFC Championship Broncos Patriots before.
2015, Peyton Manning's last game in Denver. Right. That was one of the most electric environments, maybe the most I've ever been in my life.
That was a wild game.
My dad and I got there at like game time. We were rushing down, and we walked up to where our seats were as kickoff was about to happen. And I got goosebumps just like from how loud and crazy, like it was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, can you give us a scouting report on Jarrett Stidham? Please.
Well, I'll first say this. I was talking to my college friends, and they said Bo wasn't very good when he was at Auburn. And now look at him. Jarrett wasn't very good when he was at Auburn. So I'm hoping it's the same Cinderella story where he like he just needed those years.
Yeah.
And now he's really good. He's just been training. Like, he's just been in training this whole time. That's right. So
yeah. Bo was only at Auburn for a year, right? Jarrett
was there
Jarrett
for
was
3.
better than Bo at Auburn.
I think he was there for
three
3 or 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's been training in godliness too.
But Jarrett
he's confident though. I like
every
that.
time he's played, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I still have hope.
Yep. And he's got confidence, man.
All we're going to do is believe that the Broncos are going to take down the Patriots and go to the Super Bowl. Why not? What a story. But I am sad about Bo Nix.
Yes.
I think about it every morning when I wake up. Okay.
He's just the best.
Great guy.
I love that guy.
Here's my question, though. I was like, okay, the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes apparently broke his ankle, but continued to play. Why can't Bo?
It was probably, the Chiefs probably lied about that to just make him seem like more of a hero. He probably was fine.
Yeah.
They're the least trustworthy.
It just sucks the play he broke it on.
I know. It was a terrible play.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have happened.
Wasn't cool.
No, it didn't.
It didn't look like you wouldn't guess in a million years there was an injury on that play.
Right.
Yes.
And it was the second to last play of the game.
It was just so painful. More painful for him because he broke his ankle.
Probably physically, for sure.
Definitely.
Painful for him.
But also, that picture of him sitting outside the locker room after is very sad.
Dude. I know.
We could talk about this all day, but let's not. Let's go Broncos.
Yep. We got
Next man up. That's the NFL. These guys are pros. Our defense can win that game.
That's right.
Kayla.
Hi.
You've brought an interesting new idea to us today.
Wow.
Because we were talking ahead of time. It's called pre-production.
Ideas with Kayla.
Kayla was like, oh, by the way, my small group's been having a conversation about a question. Mm-hmm. And when we started this podcast, it was kind of like, we're going to start a podcast within the church and we'll just talk more into sermons. But over time, it's grown somewhat to reach people that don't go to our church, that don't know what we're talking about at church. And we always want to be speaking to our audience and helping answer the questions ultimately that a lot of people are asking. And our sermons do that in a lot of different ways with faith questions people have. But there's also cultural things and things that we wouldn't or couldn't talk to just time-wise from the stage about that are going on in the world. And so we'd like to get more questions here. We won't ever be able to answer all of them, but we want to be helpful to you in your faith journey, in your life, and as imperfect pastors, speak to some of those things. So if you have a question that you're like, I'd love to hear this asked, I'd love to see, beyond, like, obviously the funny ones are great for questions with Kayla sometimes, but also a more serious, like, can you speak to this topic? I read this in the Bible. I don't understand it. My small group's having this debate about whatever. We do have to answer those. So you can email afterthoughts@redrockschurch.com.
What?
We have an official email address.
So
seriously,
official?
Send us an email with your question, and Kayla will sift through the probably
billions.
Probably millions, if not billions. I was going to say.
We're going to have to hire 3 people just to run that account.
We're going to have to whole questions team.
Wow.
But some of them may create a whole episode for us, and some of them may be part of Questions with Kayla, where we'll give 5 minutes and try to help answer your question. It reminds me, there's an awesome girl that goes to our church. I'm not going to call her out by name, but she finds me in the lobby once in a while with like a really big question. She came up to me one time. She's like, can you explain predestination versus free will to me? And I was like, how much time do you have? Because we have a service in a few minutes, but we have gotten some really good conversations. But it just reminds me every time I see her and she's got a new like faith question for me.
For her.
I told her about it.
Predestination paradox.
Every time I see her and she's got a good question, it reminds me, everyone's walking around our church, but really the world. And there's these giant questions looming in their heads. We don't know the answers to all of them, but we have done a lot of study into a lot of them and could be helpful. So Kayla.
Yes.
Let's try this out.
All right.
It's going to be a segment called Questions with Kayla, where you ask us questions and we try to answer them.
It's a great idea.
I was like, I first thought this was kind of different. It's the exact same thing.
What you've
great
done the
idea
whole time.
For a segment, Kayla.
Yes.
But now we're going to get more from our audience. Comment question below. Doug has been loving the comments.
Dude, Doug loving them.
Doug cannot get out of the comment section.
Also,
you just threw the ball to the audience.
Yeah. It's in your court.
It is.
Ask us a question.
Comment, it's in my court. It's in my court.
Also,
exclamation point.
I got a lot of feedback about Joey last week talking about phones. If you did not listen to that episode, listen to that episode.
It's so good.
It was really, really good.
That proximity point is so good.
I've noticed just since that conversation, and these things ebb and flow, right? But when you're reminded of that, I all week have consciously been like, nope, I'm putting my phone there because I'm going out on the trampoline with my kids.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm leaving it there.
I'm turning off my phone because I'm doing a wedding.
Well,
and I don't want to see the Broncos score.
You did that, dude.
Yeah. I'm now fully present always.
Wow.
Yes. Kayla.
Hi. Okay. So this is a question from my small group. And one of the girls in it, she's basically asking it on behalf of her family as she's trying to navigate the hard questions from non-believers that she's with. And basically the question theme is like grace and mercy, like how far is it? And so the question is basically, how can somebody who is a good person, done all the Christian things, the works essentially, how can they not get their miracle? How can they also go to heaven while also the person who has committed the worst things in the world also go to heaven if they're on their deathbed, or like, at the very last minute, they're like, actually, I do believe in Jesus. And maybe even they get this miracle and the other person who's a good person, quote unquote, doesn't. Oof. They're having a hard time justifying and like reconciling with that type of topic, which is very real. And I think as Christians right now, we can just think on a logical level. It's like, well, why don't you just believe, like, of course, grace, but I think those grace and mercy is such there's a reason for it to be so like vast and like you can't fully wrap our mind around it. There's a reason for that, but I would love for you guys to like speak on that, as many people maybe have family members or they're listening right now and they have a hard time with that too.
Wow.
So I've got thoughts.
Thoughts after Kayla's question?
Yeah, I've got some afterthoughts, and I will.
How about you start, Ryan?
We'd all be fascinated to hear them, Ryan.
Such a good question. And let me start by saying this. Grace is very easy to accept as like a universal truth. God's grace is sufficient for the Sauls out there and the worst of the worst. It's very difficult when it's a specific example. Yeah. And so you go like, yeah, His grace is sufficient for anyone. Anyone can repent. Great. But if you actually know somebody who like really hurt you or hurt your family or hurt people that you love, and then you see them repent and get saved, it becomes a lot harder to actually believe that that's true. And that takes me to Matthew chapter 20. Can I do a little Bible teaching?
Please.
Because Jesus did a whole parable.
Don't ever ask for permission.
By the way,
that I think is going to answer this.
Cool Bible, dude.
Okay, shout out to Kelly Poor.
Kelly Poor.
Kelly gave us probably the most thoughtful gift that I've ever gotten.
It's so cool.
She gave us all 3 Bibles, but she went through the last 7 years of our sermons.
Wow.
And picked out the passages that we preached from and went through and highlighted.
Dang.
And then numbered up the amount of times we were in like a certain passage and was like different highlight colors for different things. And then like would write for like John 3:16 how many times we've preached that one in 7 years. Wild.
She did use AI to help her.
Wow.
So
yeah.
It's your Bible wrapped.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, Bible wrapped.
This is Bible wrapped.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
7 years of Bible wrapped.
We each got our own individual, and one with like stats of which ones you like, which scriptures you preach the most, what percentage of the Bible, Old and New Testament,
your longest sermon, how many sermons you've preached since
it was so thoughtful.
Cool. Really cool.
Really cool.
That's really cool.
So thank you, Kelly.
And convicting for us was like, okay, there's some other passage. I need to get some more Old Testament worked in here.
For example, I'm seeing that I've never preached on Matthew 20 before. At least not at Red Rocks, which is probably part of the problem.
Hey, but the podcast,
which is why Kayla's small group is asking this question, because you've never told him about this.
My resolution was to be part of the solution, but so far I'm only part of the problem. Oh, okay. Matthew chapter 20.
Solution resolution.
You guys just chime in as I go here.
Okay.
Matthew 20, starting in verse 1.
Do we have the chimes?
I was just thinking that.
Kayla threw them away.
Yeah.
For the kingdom of heaven is like, so Jesus all throughout, especially Matthew's gospel, will start parables trying to explain the kingdom of heaven because it's such a profound thing that sometimes it needs stories to understand it. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard, oftentimes comparing God to landowners all throughout the gospels. He agreed to pay them a denarius, which is a day's wage for the day, and sent them into his vineyard. So in the morning, he wakes up and he goes, hey, I want to hire some workers. I'll pay you a day's wage to go out and work for the day. About 9 a.m, so typical starting day, he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. He told them, you also go out in my vineyard and I will pay you whatever is right. So they went. You with me so far? Mm-hmm. Hire some people very early in the morning, hire some people at 9 a.m. and says, you go out and join them. He went out again at noon. So now it's lunchtime. And about 3 p.m. and did the same thing. Found some other people and said, hey, why don't you head out and I'll pay you what I owe you. And then about 5 p.m, remember this is Jesus telling the story, and it's probably like funny as he's telling it because he's just such a good storyteller. About 5 p.m, he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing?" Some people just at 5 p.m. still haven't worked all day. "Because no one has hired us," they answered. He said to them, "You also go work in my vineyard." And then, so closing time was 6 p.m. So they head out at 5 p.m. and they pick up a shovel and they start working. When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and going on to the first." So they stand in line, starting with the people that started at 5 p.m., just an hour earlier. The workers who were hired about 5 p.m. came, and each, here it is, received a denarius. So they received a whole day's wage for their hour of work. So that's amazing, right? But then it says this, here's the twist. Great deal. Should just do that. Mm-hmm. So when those who were hired first, when those came who were hired first, they've seen what's been going on. They expected to receive more.
Right. They're like, dang, those guys got a day's wage. How much are we going to get?
Think about how this is going to work out for us.
Okay.
That's fair.
Fair.
I would think that.
I would too.
But each one of them also received a denarius. So they just get a day's wage.
Okay.
The same thing that the other ones got. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. Obviously, as all of us would. "They who were hired last worked only 1 hour," they said, "and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the work and the heat of the day." Right? They're going, we've been out there for 9 hours working. So this is Jesus talking again. Remember, he's telling a story. This is a made up story, but he's telling it to make a point about the heart of the Father. "But he answered one of them, 'I am not being unfair to you, friend. Didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Take your pay." And remember, at first he goes to them, "If you go out at 6 a.m. and work, I'll give you a day's wage. Mm-hmm. Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want with my own money?" And then get this. "Or are you envious because I am generous?" And then he says, "So the last will be first and the first will be last." Which is like, I think Jesus getting out of story mode and then making his point in one sentence. Mm-hmm. But let's sit on that for a second. "Or are you envious because I am generous?" And so it's a story, I think, my reading on it is, I think it's a story about all of life, but let's just talk about it in the context of salvation. And your question is, the person who gets saved when they're 6 at summer camp and then devotes their entire life to trying to do everything right. They don't get it perfect, but they try to follow Jesus their entire life. They get to heaven. And the person who spends their whole life committing like atrocious crimes and then on their deathbed repents, puts their faith in Jesus, apparently also gets into heaven. And it's fair to say for the person that got saved when they were 6 and devoted their whole life to doing this Jesus's way, it's fair for them to go, that doesn't seem fair to me from a human perspective. And Jesus is telling a story just to like lob a grenade right into the middle of this and go like, here's how God's grace works. And none of you are going to be able to understand it. So it's just interesting to me that like when Jesus got that question, he didn't just give a one-word answer. He tells a story. And it's a story that like, if you sit with Matthew 20 for the next week and read it every single day, you'll see a new thing in this parable every single time you read it. Starting with, for me right now, we become envious of God's generosity, where we go, I don't think that's fair, God. And to be fair to us, it's not fair because generosity typically isn't fair.
Correct.
But we're playing a game of scarcity, whereas God's playing a game of abundant grace for all. Yes. And there's a point that my mind gets to where I just go, I can no longer make sense of that. And I think that point is really good to bump up against often, because when we bump up against that place of like, that doesn't make sense to me, God, then the box that we put God in gets torn down and we realize that God is bigger and more beautiful than we ever realized. Thoughts?
Wow. That's good. Yeah, you either there's kind of two modes that you can live in. And one mode is I take what I believe I've earned and I take what's fair. The other mode is I get or I receive what I don't deserve. And I think the whole message of Jesus is please don't live in the mode where you take what you think you've earned. Yeah. Because if you live in that mode, everybody, nobody gets heaven.
Yeah.
There's a lie that good people go to heaven.
Yeah, the person that went out at 6 a.m. to start working.
Yeah.
That they deserve that wage.
Exactly. Yeah, the lie, it is a lie that good people go to heaven.
Right.
And so right there, we can start with that. You can't be good enough. Like the standard is perfection.
Good.
To be where God is, which is heaven. And you can't do that. Mother Teresa didn't do that. Mother Teresa, if she was here on this podcast right next to me, she would say, I fell so far short of that. Yeah. And if Mother Teresa fell short of that, all of us did.
Stand a chance, yeah.
So Mother Teresa, Hitler would need Jesus to go to heaven just as much as Mother Teresa would need Jesus to go to heaven. Oof. And that's not really great to say in here, but it is 100% the truth.
Yeah.
So it is a lie that good people go to heaven. It doesn't matter if you're a good person or not, if you are using that as a scale for what God is going to grant you as far as the afterlife goes. You get Jesus and his righteousness and perfection. You have that or you don't. That is really the question one day when you're standing at the pearly gates or whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you start that sentence with, let's say there's an angel, or let's say it's Jesus, or let's say it's God the Father, whoever's standing there, or Peter, and he's going, why should you get in? If you begin that sentence by saying, because whatever you say after those two words, you're not getting in. But if you begin that sentence with, because Jesus, so it matters not what you did.
Right.
And so your answer better start with, because Jesus did everything.
Such
and
a
so
good thought,
you either take what you think you deserved in this life and in the afterlife, or you receive what you don't deserve. And those are the two mindsets through which to view your salvation and then everybody else's salvation also. Because the problem is, if you live in the I'm taking what I think I've earned and deserved, then it's either going to manifest itself in self-righteousness or shame.
Interesting.
So if you're comparing yourself to you hear this person's story at one of our correctional facilities about, wow, they've killed 11 people.
Yeah.
Or killed their child. Or like, this is real stuff.
Yeah.
And you go, so they're the person that started working at 5 p.m. and then got a day's wage at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
When you've behaved and done it so much better for so much longer, that creates self-righteousness, where it's less about I deserve more and more about I think they deserve less.
Interesting.
But if you operate that way, then as soon as you have a bad week, or as soon as you mess up again or sin again, then you are now a victim of your own mindset that has to do with I live and die based on what I earn. If I take what I think I deserve, then that's great on good days. But it's terrible on bad days, because if you mess up, it's like, well, then what I deserve is guilt and shame.
Wow.
What I deserve is punishment for this. So you can't have this mindset for when things are good and then switch to a grace mindset. I mean, you can't do that. Like, your human brain's not going to do that very well.
Right. It's probably why gossip is such a massive industry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What is gossip? It's going, look at what those people did over there, because that's moving them down the ranks of the sliding scale that to your point we're trying to be on.
Yeah.
Which means that you're moving up.
Yeah.
And so that's why good news doesn't sell. That's why anytime you read anything, it's always about bad things that other people did. Probably because self-consciously we go, I'm winning this race.
Well, it's like if God grades on a curve, then I want to hear about all the kids in my class who suck. I want to hear about all the ones who are failing the test, because then I'm like, okay, my grade's getting bumped up, and God's going to let in the top half, of the class. And so you're a good person compared to what? So like your sister's divorced and you're not. Or your cousin's an addict, but you're not. So what?
Yeah, right. Right.
So what? Like there's one or two mindsets that you can live life in. I take what I think I've earned, or I receive what I don't deserve.
Yeah.
Wow. So good.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my afterthoughts.
Okay.
First thing, this statement will sound controversial.
Oh, here we go.
God is just, but he is not fair.
What?
Freak you guys out?
Pastor said what?
Watch Doug is really upset right now.
So many people's questions, I think, about God and his sovereignty are rooted in what's fair, in human ideas of fairness. And I always like to flip that question back and go, if God operated on what was fair, then he never would have sent Jesus here. And Jesus never would have gone to the cross for you, because that is actually the least fair thing.
Yes.
That is the biggest story in history of someone getting what they didn't deserve, is Jesus on the cross. So God doesn't operate in our fairness. He operates in justice. And I think the best moment where you can see this is the prisoner on the cross. Because that is the justice of God right there, where this man who's gotten himself on that cross, he actually rebukes the other guy who's talking trash about Jesus. And he says to him, do you not fear God?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you're crazy. Like, not only are you dying for the things that you did, but you are talking trash about this holy man who's dying next to us who shouldn't be here. He had enough understanding that Jesus shouldn't be there. Do you not fear God? And this guy has just a healthy enough little bit of that. And that's probably led him to a place of feeling like, I'm getting what I deserve right now. But he looks at Jesus with this last hope and goes, will you remember me wherever you're going? Wow. Like, is there any chance I can jump on board with what you're doing right now? And that's an act of faith. Because why would you ask someone who's dying that? Unless you believe that there's something he's doing beyond that. And
let's humanize this for a second. That guy, that criminal, who we all like feel for him. Like you kind of, he's the victim who's being crucified on the cross. No.
That was the punishment due to him.
Think murder.
Theft, zealot, rebel, probably
assault,
caused a huge issue.
Think he's caused trauma that's going to go unhealed in other people's lives and ruined other families.
And some of them are there to watch him die.
Correct.
Because
so he's not.
That's their moment of
poor
justice.
Criminal on the cross.
Right.
Rome, big bad Rome is crucifying him.
Right.
It's not that. It's okay. This guy ruined your life.
Yeah.
He ruined your life.
Picture that guy.
He killed your sibling. Okay.
And because whenever we read, we tend to think that Rome or the Pharisees are the bad guys in the story. But actually, everybody except Jesus is the bad guy in the story, because all of us are the reason he had to come here. So that guy makes this just reach of faith to Jesus. And Jesus looks back at him and I think answers this question in one phrase when he says, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise. Now think about that. Because when you're new to faith, this story is like, oh my gosh, like the grace of God is actually sufficient for somebody like me. And it is, and it's true. And it hits you in such a profound way. Like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard, that this man on his dying breath, he didn't deserve it, but Jesus was so loving that he's dying next to him and says, because of me, I'll take you with me. Because it's not about what you did, it's about what I'm doing right now. It's so beautiful. The older you get and the deeper you get into faith, that story starts to bother you more and more with those kinds of questions. Because think about the people down below.
Such a good point.
That are there to see that man die just, and they go, what did that guy just say? Like, he must be crazy, because there's no way he would invite that man with him if he knew who that man was. He can't be. Think about the Pharisees hearing that. That's like the final straw where Jesus just makes them mad one last time, even though he already had prayed for them. But they're all standing there like, this guy doesn't understand justice. He doesn't do what's fair. He's with all the sinners and the wrong people. And now he's going to tell that guy next to him that he can come to the kingdom of heaven that he's told us he's bringing. He's telling that guy he can go. It's one of the most controversial moments, because grace is so controversial, and they call it scandalous for a reason, right? Like, it's so hard for a human mind that lives our daily lives always about what's fair.
Always.
To actually believe that that's how good God is.
Just.
Because what's unfair is actually Jesus on that cross.
It's so, I mean, we do this as humans from the time we're 3 years old. How many conversations in our house we have about, well, I heard that Kinsley had 10 minutes of iPad time. So it's like, Will, you just got to go on a trip with Dad to go to a Broncos game. So, but Kinsley gets to now do, and they're always asking what's fair, and are you in debt to me, and do I now get something because they got something? Yeah. And we do this from the time we're 3.
It's the human condition.
It is, yeah. So you either get, we all want, to bring it back, we all want grace for us and justice for others.
Correct.
But you either get grace for everybody or justice for everybody, including you.
Yes.
And justice for you is not heaven.
It's the same as everybody else.
It's the same as everybody else because good people don't go to heaven.
So I picture that.
Unless they know Jesus.
Well, yeah. And then that gets into
just in case somebody just heard that.
Wow. Yeah. I picture when Paul, he describes he had this thorn and he asked God 3 times to heal him, to give him his miracle. Yeah. And God just said, my grace is sufficient for you. That was his answer. If I'm putting myself in Paul's shoes here, and we are in some ways alike, in some ways not alike. So maybe this wasn't what he was thinking, but
probably sandals, by the way, to be more accurate.
Yes, sandals.
First century.
Yes. Mm-hmm. If I'm Paul and I'm maybe negotiating, arguing, having a prayer moment with God about this thing that is a issue in my life that is holding me back, that I'm struggling with, that I need healing from, as I am only trying to go and build your kingdom.
Yeah.
And I have the Apostle Paul, I'm going, dude, I have, like, he lists out somewhere like a night at sea, which I never have taken that one into account. That's terrifying. Especially back then when you don't know anything about the ocean.
Yeah, floating in the water.
All night. After shipwreck.
Your phone doesn't tell you there's a storm coming.
No.
You just have to guess.
You see lightning in the distance and you go.
Everywhere he goes, he ends up getting like stones thrown at him. He gets beaten. He gets 40 lashes minus 1 3 or 4 times. After everything that dude's endured for the gospel, I'd be going, I know my past, but also like look at my track record right now.
Yeah.
Look at some of these other people.
I feel that.
Like,
I feel that way.
You're not healing me. I'd be saying those things, and God's response is very profound because I think he just simply goes, my grace is sufficient for you for what you need.
Yeah.
Worry about you. Mm-hmm. It's like what you teach your kids when they're in kindergarten, like, hey, Zeke, stop worrying about Ray and worry about Zeke. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey guys, stop comparing yourself and trying to like justify based off somebody else, because my grace is sufficient for you.
Yes.
And I wrote this as you guys were talking. Comparison turns us back into Pharisees, judging each other and losing the gratitude that we have for the grace of God in our lives.
Right.
Oof.
When you start to compare your testimony with somebody else's, you compare your sin with theirs, you quickly become judgmental and go, yeah, I'm better than them. This isn't fair. But that's not the point of the gospel. And that's why God says, my grace is sufficient for you. In the same way it's sufficient for that person. Their story is just different than yours. Mm-hmm. And you brought up our correctional facilities. I have been so grateful for the people in our correctional facilities, watching them accept the grace of God.
Yeah.
Watching them get to understand that scandalous grace, because they have been told, because of what they've done that got them into a prison by the world, like, we're done with you. Mm-hmm. This, like, we don't believe you have purpose, like life is over for you. And many of them believe that about themselves, but then they read the Bible and it's a different story. Then they read about the prisoner on the cross and they're like, hold on a second. Is his grace really sufficient for me too? And that's why we do what we do, to go tell them, yes, no one's too far gone. It's not too late for anybody, no matter what you've done. I've sat next to a woman in a correctional facility who openly told me in her story, she's in there for murder. She's in there for life. Yeah. And the human part of you, that can stretch you and go, wow, like that is a testimony that the grace of God is sufficient for. But if I'm playing the comparison game, I'm going, this is going to be tough to, but the beautiful thing about that story is watching what God has done in his grace to transform her and how her life has changed. And I'm sitting next to somebody like that going, I would want nothing more for you than to be forgiven and to know the grace of God. And so there's in 2 Corinthians 5, verse 16, it says, as Paul is talking about, now we're people that focus on the unseen, right? We're living differently now. We're gospel people. He says, so from now on, we regard no one from a worldly point of view. Like, that is, to me, such a simple thing that if we as Christians could do that, we're not viewing people like we used to. We don't view them in a worldly way with fairness and judgment like we used to. We don't measure their sin. We view them in a heavenly way as children of God that would hang on a cross next to him. And we would want nothing more than Jesus to say the same thing. So the last thing I'll say is, I think if you sat next to that person on their deathbed who lived what we'd call a terrible life and did all these atrocious things, and you heard their testimony and their story that led them to that place.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think anyone with a good heart, like for people, would go, sorry, I still don't think God's grace is sufficient for you. I think you'd understand more. Because, for example, the woman I talked about was raped when she was 5, lived a childhood from hell, and got in with a whole bunch of horrible people, addicted to drugs, and all these things happen. And that doesn't justify the action or the sin, but you can understand more of the life that led you to a place where something so crazy and heinous would happen. And I think we would have much more grace for people if we actually understood their story and want the grace of God for them. And then one more thing I'll say.
Okay.
The penultimate thing.
After all that, because I think some people in that question are going, so all I have to do is just go, okay, I believe in Jesus, and that's my last breath, and now I get to go to heaven. But Scripture says if you believe in your heart and confess with your tongue that Jesus is Lord. And so while his grace is scandalous and salvation is free, you have to believe it. It's not just as simple as I'm just going to read this sentence and there I go. If you don't actually believe it, if you don't understand the gospel to the capacity that you would put your faith in him, that's different.
Yeah.
It's not just making a statement, it's a belief.
Really good point,
it's a faith that you surrender.
Your salvation will have evidence.
Yeah.
And it'll show up in your life starting to change. Not that God puts timelines on that, but it's the faith without works is dead, because faith should lead to works. The classic, I love that C.S. Lewis quote where he says, or maybe it's Keller, I think it's Lewis, but he says, which is more important, faith or works? He says, it's kind of like asking which blade on a pair of scissors is most important. And I love that. It's one's the belief and the other's the evidence.
So the thief on the cross didn't have a chance to go do good works, but what we can conclude is he had a true heart posture change on the cross, meaning if they had come by and let him off the cross, his life would have started to look different from there on out.
And Jesus acknowledges in him, like, he has surrendered in that moment in some way to go, I can't control this, and I'm getting what I deserved, but I believe that you may be able to get me what I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
You may be able to take me
Really
somewhere, 'cause
good.
I think you are who these people were saying that you claim to be.
I think there's a really important warning here that you gave, which is the longer you go on this journey, the more difficult it becomes for us to actually celebrate that. And it's just true, man. Like when I read that story in college, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
thank God.
Well, good. I'm getting through too then.
Yeah.
But then something tricky happens. Is you start stringing together a couple of years of following Jesus, and you read through the entire Bible, and you do 21 days of prayer and fasting. And as you go, it's just a warning to, you have to up your ability to read the story of the thief on the cross and celebrate it.
Yeah.
And as soon as you feel yourself not celebrating it, you have to stop and go back to the beginning and go, no, his grace is sufficient for everybody. And you got to learn how to celebrate everybody again, or else you become the older brother in the prodigal son story where you just go, they're getting a party for that.
I did all the good things.
And so not that we're that far into this journey, we still have decades to go, God willing, but I think that's like that's hitting me. Is like the longer you go in this, the more time you have to consciously stop and go, God, don't let the radical, scandalous truth of the gospel ever, ever, ever get old for me.
Can I tell you what I struggle with?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about miracles in this situation. It bothers me that Paul never got his. And it doesn't, not in a comparison way where it bothers me that, so this person got theirs. I look at
think about this too. People got their miracles through Paul.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
It's just like his handkerchief.
His handkerchief worked for them, but not for him.
He was the miracle. God used him to work miracles for other people, yet he did not have his own.
Yes.
That's brutal.
It's brutal. So I've been praying for a healing miracle for 18 years.
Yeah.
And I've been following Jesus for 17 of those 18 years and giving my entire life to, I'm not comparing myself to Paul. Obviously.
Of course not.
Obviously. You guys know what I'm saying.
Yes. Though we did go out lobster diving at night, so we have been at sea at night.
We have been at sea at night.
Yes.
Terrifying.
But I do resonate with that story of the thorn because I go, okay, so far, this is mine and you haven't taken it from me. That doesn't cause me, though, to be the older brother and not celebrate other miracles or salvations.
Yeah.
I want to maximize the amount of miracles for everybody.
Yeah.
So if I never got mine for the rest of my life, I wouldn't have a hard time celebrating people.
Why do you think that is? Because I think if we're honest, a lot of people would
have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
I just I think all the fallout of sin, I just it drives me crazy. I'm like, the fact that things are not the way they're supposed to be, God's original design, anytime things are set back to how they're supposed to be, which I would define that's what a miracle is, I celebrate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fact that there's so much sin and fall out of sin is BS to me. Like, it pisses me off so much. So I want any win. I want as many wins for people. Every prayer request that's come into the Red Rocks app, if I was the one person of the 5,000 of us that didn't get theirs, I would celebrate the 4,999. I wouldn't be outside while you guys are partying inside. I would be partying.
Yeah. However,
I would be a different character in that Luke 15 prodigal son story.
This is interesting. Yeah.
I would be maybe like the middle brother. I don't know who's like, who's there partying, but mad at like the father, not the younger son, not jealous.
Right.
Just like, there's a scene in The Chosen where Jesus heals a ton of people, and then little James doesn't get his healing, and it's this really beautiful 5-minute scene with tears.
Yeah.
And I really hate it. And I'm so like, it angers me.
Right.
But not because of everybody else who gets their miracle. I'm like, Jesus, that's a great answer. I think I could have written that script actually for that, but I'm not satisfied with it.
What does he say to him?
It basically, it's a longer, more beautiful version of my grace is sufficient for you. And I go, part of me is like, when I have a headache or a migraine, I'm like, I don't care about that answer.
Yep.
If I'm being really honest. Once the migraine's gone, then I feel like, I'm like, you did get me through yet again. And that was my miracle.
Right.
You've continued to be the grace for me for the last 17, 18 years of pain every single day. Yeah. But I just like, why not every miracle?
Right. Yeah.
So it's not a problem with other people getting theirs. I'd go to God and be like, I don't agree that I don't get mine. I don't understand that. Like, I don't want that part.
That's
and
really
I worry that I got to sign that role. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And we all have a role that's assigned.
Yeah.
But I watched that scene with little James in The Chosen, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this.
Interesting.
I literally feel like I don't want to. I want to celebrate all the other miracles. I want to celebrate salvations. I don't have a problem with that terrorist repenting on his final breath and going to heaven. I don't deal with that. I deal with,
dude,
I can't watch that episode of Jesus saying no to little James, who's giving everything to follow him.
Thanks
I can't
for sharing,
watch
man.
it. So that's my role.
Yeah.
Or I'm worried that's my role.
Right.
But that's what I deal with, is not jealousy, but I would say anger.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm like, God, you could do it.
Yeah.
And you're not.
There's a confusion.
There's a confusion, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That's, I don't know what role that is, but that was just me being really honest.
Dude, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
I bet you
absolutely.
there's so many people listening right now who go, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Finally, somebody said it.
Yeah, like I'll go to our correctional facilities. I'm like, hey, salvations, miracles, let's go.
Yeah. Right.
I don't care. Like, I just want things to be set back to how God originally intended, where there's no cancer, there's wholeness. There's no migraines.
Yeah.
There's no headaches. You know what I mean? It's like, or that couple that was going through that and now they're reconciled and their marriage is better than it's ever been, even though he had an affair or she did that. I'm like, great. I'm like, let's celebrate. Who's going to waste time going, they shouldn't have that because he did. I'm like, dude, okay, he shouldn't have had that affair, but you're not going to celebrate the fact that 3 years later their marriage is amazing now?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Yeah. I have all the grace in the world and the celebration, no jealousy.
Dude.
Just like but I can't watch that Chosen episode.
There's
it's a great point.
And often
pastor me.
often the answer is like, well, that day is coming, right?
Right.
And that is more true than we realize, but it also sometimes isn't always helpful in the moment when you're suffering and you're like, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
I know one day I'll be released of this pain. It's like the guy I talked to at Night to Shine had the most beautiful perspective. He's in a wheelchair and, deals with so many issues every single day that he has to persevere through. And he was just like, I got the miracle I need. And one day I'll have the miracle I want.
Yes.
Salvation is the miracle he needs. And that is like the best perspective, but it is hard.
It's impressive, dude.
In a moment of suffering, because that's what awaits you. But today it's really, really challenging.
Yeah.
Let me just throw this out there. See what you guys think.
Yeah.
If the ultimate miracle is salvation, and that is God's chief goal, That's before physical healing, emotional, mental, before any of that. Salvation is the miracle that I think we put way closer to the other miracles than it actually is. Like if we could truly understand eternity and the true miracle that salvation is,
it's a whole
different stratosphere than if your migraines got healed. Not to minimize that, but it's a totally different one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If his chief goal is that miracle and suffering within the story maximizes the amount of those miracles that happen in this lifetime. Paul's thorn in some way maximizes salvation.
Maximizes salvation, yeah. Yeah.
Is that a helpful reason or thought or answer behind? Maybe it doesn't, and maybe it's not helpful, but is there a part of that that makes you go, that could make a little bit of sense of it to me, that there are miracles that don't happen? Because on paper, Jesus says, ask for anything in my name, little James should get healed, right?
Yeah.
He just asks him. It's like, I'm asking you and you can do it. And I'm serving you. Like that should happen. But is there some degree to salvation and eternity that we can't see that goes, we all know suffering is a call in our lives. Everyone suffers in their own ways.
Yes.
There are some more like blatant outright things like chronic pain that you go, just heal that.
Yeah.
People with diseases, like those kinds of things. So I get that.
Yeah.
But that's sometimes how my mind works when I scale out to eternity. And God does have like a bottom line at the end of all these things. And there's a story that's being written. And some people might say then that's like a cruel part of the whole thing, or part of him, that he would let suffering be a tool that creates maximizing salvation, though that is literally what the gospel is of Jesus. But
it's a good. Does that make you more angry or less angry?
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with that, because you have to start from the premise that God is good, not bad. And there's zero part of me that's ever struggled with wondering if God's actually not good. Is he a lot good, but then he also has like some bad, like, but I think a lot of people, like, they'll hear about hell, for instance, and they will be starting from a premise of God is not good. And because of this. And so that's why they feel like they become an atheist, because they need to disprove God because they have to, because he's not good.
Right.
But if you can start from a premise, no, God is good, then you can see, okay, so then why is hell a reality? But it doesn't call into question the goodness of God. So you have to start there. I've always been able to.
Really good.
I've never doubted that.
That might be the difference between you and a lot of people that wrestle with that question, that might go, well, I don't know if he is good because of but you started with him.
Yeah.
And then worked from him to the issues.
Yeah.
Where most people start at the issue and then reflect that on him. Like, well, if the world's this way, or if that person could get saved according to this faith.
Yeah.
And they've started with the issue and the problem, not God himself. And they're defining him by the problem instead of defining the problem by him.
And, it is going to, like, it's made me stronger. All the balancing statements, I could give a killer testimony video and drop some zinger one-liners that's like, wow, that was, and they're all true, of like, God is still good, even though he's the healer, even though I'm still waiting on mine. He's good, and I'm saying that now, and I believe all that. And I could give that testimony video, and it would be very moving, and it'd be very true. But I don't know, like,
dude,
I wonder about my miracle.
Do you think it brings you closer to God because now you're having to like wrestle, and there's something about like wrestling that like, like in actual wrestling, you're now very close with him.
Great question.
And it's almost like like as a parent, you would rather your kid yell at you and like speak like kind of like talk back and like be angry, and like then you're like, finally I'm getting something out of you, rather than like, whatever, I'm gonna go to my room.
I'm gonna shut you out.
Wow.
That's a great question. It depends on the season. My good seasons with him, I'm close to him and I yell and I thank him and I cry, like and then my bad seasons, which I do have them, I go quiet on him. And so depends on the season I'm in, to be honest with you. It's a weird thing. Like I think about miracles and I go, if you were to ask me, do you think God will heal you this year? Like there'll be one moment where all of a sudden your pain is taken away and whatever is causing it is fixed. I would answer no. So we're just going to get really honest. I'm a pastor preaching miracle mindset.
Right.
I think God does miracles though all the time through, and maybe I have like an earn it mindset in a lot of ways, because I think he's designed, I think there's something in our bodies that will heal because we're children of the light, children of the promise, and everything heals.
Yeah.
Kinsley she got a blister on her foot at the park 2 days ago. She was asking me about when I super glued your head shut because she, like, on the way to school yesterday, she was like, Daddy, will you tell me the story of when Ethan sliced his head?
I'll show you some
so
footage.
I did. And she said, how did that happen? How did that? And then I was like, why are you asking all this? And then at the end she goes, okay. She's like, yeah, that's like the same thing as my blister. Oh. And I said, you got a blister? Because we were in Denver, and she's like, yeah, I got a blister at the park.
Oh.
But that'll be healed a week from now.
Right.
Because her body knows how to do that because God made it that way. Mm-hmm. So that's a miracle. Mm-hmm. Like, that is a miracle. Mm-hmm. It's there right now, and it won't be there in a week.
Totally.
So I think like if you give it what it needs, which is oxygen and sleep and rest, then there's certain principles that if you do them, God has already designed a flow that is miraculous.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we will pray for the miracle because we're not willing to do the principles. It's like the God help me to not reap what I've been sowing.
Yeah.
The classic one I've used is like, me and my girlfriend, me and my boyfriend, whatever, have been having sex, but please don't let me, please help me not get pregnant.
Yeah.
It's like, help me to not reap what we've been sowing. Or it's, I'm going to eat like crap and I never really exercise, but will you help me to be healthy?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you want the miracle to hijack the whole system and take you, like, forget the journey to get from here to the promised land that is the miracle. You want God to just, snap his fingers and apparate you there. So, and that he does that though. Like, he does that. You can get the miracle without the journey. And if that happens to people, I celebrate it. I'm like, I just want to see miracles, man.
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of people listening who, like, you're praying for a miracle because you're not willing to do the principles. And I don't think heaven is drawn to that sort of attitude.
Yeah.
And so that's just like a heart check for a second, or a mind check for a second. But I think I'm going to get my miracle this year, but it's going to be through principles. And there's a journey, and there's additional factors I haven't, not that it's a code, but there is, like, to the human body, there's a lot of, that's why doctors, you get multiple answers and multiple opinions, and try this and try that, because it's very complicated. Mm-hmm. And I've just been on a journey of trying to figure out what the answer is.
That's right.
And I have some, and I really believe that God is going to, through what he's already put in me, I think he's going to supercharge that healing process as I do the principles this year. But do I think there's going to be one moment at a worship night where all of a sudden it's gone? I would love to have the faith for that. Like, God, I believe, help me believe that even more. But I'm really tired of, I used to think that, and I don't know that I think I'm too tired to believe that will happen. Mm-hmm. But I'm not too tired to believe that he'll supercharge a healing process in me. Does that make sense?
And let me say what Doug won't say. You're not just doing some of the principles. You've devoted so much of your life. You've done a complete. You're taking such radical steps to do the principles, i.e. like watching every single thing that you eat and how you sleep. Yeah. And I just traveled with you for the weekend, and you go out of your way so much to make sure that you're doing this the right way. And so I wanted to take a second and say, well done with that. You're stewarding the body that God gave you so well. And I think it's like really important. We've like reached this point in this conversation. Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah.
Where there's almost this just like, and I don't understand the rest of it. And I don't either.
Yeah.
And the anger's there for me too, for you on your behalf. And I think in those moments, like, it's really important to realize, like, God goes like, bring the anger to the table, man. Like, all of the anger is it's part of it. Mm-hmm. This isn't you being the older brother. You technically are my older brother, but this isn't you being the older brother at all. And that's a helpful distinction. It's not a scarcity mindset.
Yeah, it's
an
not.
abundance mindset.
If I don't get a party, I don't want him to get a party.
Right.
It's no. I want as many parties as possible.
Dude.
I want he'll get a party, but let's also throw another one.
That feels like a really helpful point that there's probably a lot of people at.
Yeah.
Where I would say the same thing to them that I'll say to you. Like the anger is so welcome and so understandable.
Yeah.
And so needed. And I'm sorry, and also really well done applying the principles to your life.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
There will be a certain element of supernatural, and
there has to be.
There has to be
for it to be a miracle, because by definition, a miracle is something that only God can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I think, to your point, is there are a lot of people that you might be praying for a miracle and pray about everything. That's great, but there's probably some things that we might picture as a miracle that's like, actually, that's within. You could do that.
Yeah.
Some things that are like that's within your control, and then there's some things that are not. Like, God, would I wake up tomorrow and be in shape? Well, that wouldn't take God for that to happen. You could just start eating better and going to work out and things like that.
Because
versus there is a pain that every doctor that I've ever seen can't seem to give me a solution for. I've tried all these, like there is some part of this that I can't do enough health-wise to make this pain go away, and that's where the God factor comes in, like do what only you can do type of thing. So that's also a helpful filter, I think, for some people. That might be a challenge for some people to go, hey, you might be praying about something that you could actually play a big part in, if not the whole part in. Or yes, this can happen, but you may need to, sorry, my wife's calling me. You may need to partner in this, you know, and you want God to just fast track, and you don't have to do any part of this, but he does everything through relationship. So good, helpful things for people that are praying for miracles, looking for what the heck do I do with my situation?
What do I do?
But I appreciate the honesty as well.
You fast, you pray, you believe.
Yeah. And there's a part of it, the belief part, that you just kind of chalk up and go,
whatever you do,
I don't know.
I'm not going to not follow you. It's like Peter going, where else am I going to go? Like I trust you. You got the math figured out. I know there's more that you're doing.
Yeah. It's cool when you think about Paul after that moment, his showdown with God about his thorn. He ended up almost bragging about that story in his letter. And so there's something that happened there that, like, he didn't get the answer he wanted. And I'm sure that was frustrating. He was angry with God in some way, but something cool happened in their relationship at the same time, to the point that he's using that to tell other people and brag to them a little bit in a way about like his relationship with God. So the richness of God, again, not trying to say like, so it's not even bad, man. Like, you should be grateful that you're in pain all the time, but there's some depth to that wrestling match, like Kayla was saying, some proximity, and there's something beautiful that you find in that you have found over the last 17 years.
I think whatever trial you're facing, there is something to you should know, for some reason, God has counted you worthy of stewarding it. He's counted you worthy. It's like Hebrews 11, where you go through all the Hebrews 11 and 12, like the Hall of Faith, and it kind of starts like with a bunch of positives and winners, and they put foreign armies to flight and shut the mouths of lions and knew nothing but victory, all because of their faith. And then all of a sudden it like kind of changes and it goes, and then some were cut in half and some live poor and destitute, and all of them God counted worthy, all of them, to steward the story he gave them to steward. That doesn't preach well, but it's history and our present reality. And it's powerful.
One of the wildest moments in the book of Acts is when the disciples go off rejoicing that they got the crap beat out of them. Because they're like, I can't believe they consider us like Jesus, that they want to hurt us for what we're saying and for our ministry. Like, they're like so pumped about persecution that they get to share in it. That they're considered worthy.
It does become something you brag about.
Crazy.
And that's a good kind of bragging, I think.
It's awesome.
But when I talk to people I talk to a lot of people, like I have a few email threads going right now, and they come in and they're long. And I can't keep up with them, like but it's people in chronic, not acute pain, but chronic. And I'm like, I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot in my tank to fire you up right now, because I feel like everything you're saying. But also, he's good and he's a healer and he does miracles. Start with the premise, end with the premise. God is good. He is good. He always will be, even when it looks like things aren't, or you question, why wouldn't you do this? or why do you do it that way? He's good.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that right now, 18 years into a miracle I haven't gotten yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my words weigh a lot, and that's not nothing.
Yeah.
Dude,
my words weigh a lot because of that. And to be like, I'm saying that right now. God is good and he does miracles. And anybody can say that when they got theirs.
Right.
And I will say it.
Or when they don't need
when
theirs.
I get it.
They don't need one.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really do believe. And help my unbelief.
Yeah,
help me believe even more. But those words, your words weigh more when you can be on the second half of that list in Hebrews and worship.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
My favorite moment in your sermon this past weekend was when you started talking about how testimonies lead to authority.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was fun because I was in Denver sitting next to Pastor Jill as you were saying it.
Yeah.
And that's their story, Sean and Jill's story in so many ways as well.
Uh-huh.
And I felt both of them like it was resonating with them.
Uh-huh.
And it was resonating with me. It's like, I don't know how it all works, but one thing I do know is you now have more authority to speak into chronic pain than I have.
Right.
Because you're 18 years into it, still saying God is good.
Yeah.
Man.
We all have a version of that.
I even think of like the Brugmans and like what they've had to endure.
Yeah.
And it's like, so
Uh-huh.
like, I don't know Scott super personally, but like you guys do. And it's like, it's one of those things like he was a good man.
Yeah, if this is a fairness game, he should never have had to deal with a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a great point.
Exactly. Yeah, he's the guy who was first in the field early in the morning.
Yes.
And didn't take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, send me to dig the harder holes.
Yeah,
I'll do that. That's Scott.
And probably would have given some of the other guys some of his money at the end of the day if they didn't get paid the same.
And was the leader out there encouraging everybody. So the manager had like a better workforce because of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
No.
Yeah.
My final encouragement is, and this is to somebody that's like strong in faith, maybe walking in faith, believes in all this, but struggling with pain, is maybe to try again to not see the eternal part of this as cold comfort. Because I think it becomes and feels like that a lot when people are like, well, you're one day, but that's actually like so wildly true.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And like, I love the fact that we will spend infinite time where you never have pain ever.
Yeah.
Compared to this short time that is a long time at the same time.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
In it. And like Jesus' miracle of salvation and resurrection makes way for the final miracle, which is his return.
Yes.
And that, I think, put it in the like framing of a fast.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle of a fast right now, and you're like, this is hard.
Yeah.
But that dinner in 11 days,
Yeah.
everything and more will be worth it.
Yeah.
When I get to go eat that food.
Agreed.
And I'm going to be thankful for the struggle
Agreed.
on the way there. And I know that probably sometimes people tell you that and it's like, I know, I just don't need that right now.
Uh-huh.
And I get that. But I think there are moments where we do need to remember that and know like when I
dude.
get to that party and that meal, this whole thing, like that will so far outweigh any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to cling to that. That's the hope of glory that Colossians tells us, like you cling to this.
Dude, I actually think I've seen that. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Good.
Because like there's no part of me that feels like you're minimizing,
Good.
migraines or anything like that. And it's not, I think that used to be cold comfort and it's not for me anymore. It's actually true comfort. And the reason is because I try to think about it a lot.
Yeah.
And we don't really try to think about eternity a lot.
Wow.
Because we can't really comprehend it. And we'd rather hear, the sermons about my 2026 because this is what I'm living. And that's just like, I get that because we can't comprehend eternity.
Right. Yeah.
We just can't.
Right.
You can, there's a difference between understanding and comprehending. You can start to understand the more you think about it. You'll never be able to comprehend it until you're there.
Yeah.
But the understanding is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
The more I've talked to even Christians who are like scared of if you're terrified of the idea of dying, which is very real for Christians. I'm talking about Christians who believe I'm going to heaven, but it's so unknown and so mysterious, and I've never been there, and I've never really met God face to face. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I have found exposure therapy The only way out is through. And if you're terrified of the idea of eternity, get the book Heaven by Randy Alcorn. Start learning good theology, because I think you might be scared because you know bad, shallow theology about heaven and new earth. More importantly, new earth.
Yeah.
And the more that you really learn what is waiting for you, you're not going to be as afraid. And it's going to mean more. It's going to mean more. It's like this is real, and that's really what my life is. Not this. This is a shadow of that. This is a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
It's dew on the grass in the morning. That's gone by lunch. It really is in comparison to that. And so it's like that exposure therapy. If it's hard to understand, try to understand. Yeah. Try to think more about New Earth and learn good theology about it. Expose yourself to it.
It's really good.
And you'll live today in light of it more easily.
Really good.
Yeah.
We could talk about this. We will talk about miracles more. We never got into, you guys wanted to talk about psychedelics.
Oh, I know.
Which worries me about you guys.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. We'll get into the crossover where a lot of the new age culture we're in has tried to kind of like claim miracles and supernatural healing and those types of things over there.
Yes.
And so we'll talk about that next week.
We'll come ready for that.
Oh yeah.
Next week's episode will be exactly what you said.
When I said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about, and is God's grace sufficient in the Broncos? Go Broncos. Yes. I hope when we are back here, we are AFC West champs going to the Super Bowl.
Miracle.
And that in itself, at this point, feels like it would be a miracle. Great. See you guys to talk psychedelics next time.